Yeah, there we go. Okay. If you guys can record on your side, though, will you do it?
Yeah, we can.
Just in case, because I don't know the cloud.
We have to request record permission from you.
Let me see if I can sign on my computer. Hold on.
It says recording, though.
Yeah, it says recording.
Yeah, it says recording.
But it's got, so I can retrieve it from the cloud, though, right?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, might need your help.
We haven't done it because we haven't paid for Zoom yet because we're cheap.
Okay. Hey, Allison. Hey, everyone. Okay, cool. All right. So, Sarah and Tegan, I'm going to give everybody like 2 more minutes, like 1 more minute. Okay. Is that cool?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Jen, you look cozy over there.
I just got out of the tub. So I am, my face is like bright red. I have deep blue all over my neck. I have been working in the garage building a desk for the last 3 days, and I hurt. So.
Well, if it makes you guys, I've literally been I came home to clean. I got like new On Guard cleaning concentrate. I got really excited, and our pipes bursted in our community, and they just like redid them. And you should see these pictures. It's disgusting. The water is brown. It's so gross.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get and I'm just like, I'm not even showering tonight. That's why I'm not. I mean, that sounds really gross, but it grosses me out that the water is even like slightly. So John's all like, I'm gonna whatever. Anyways, I won't go. Hey, Danny. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started because we're pretty much on. So I'm gonna introduce for you guys. So Danny's on, Jen's on, Jen Hogan, Vanessa, Allison. Awesome. Okay, so a lot of you know.
Sorry.
Danny, will you mute can you see the little mute? Okay, just mute you. And then at any point in time, if you guys have questions, unmute yourself, okay? And I give you permission to interrupt if you like really, really need to, okay? But we're gonna open it up to questions. Sarah and Tegan might have to go sooner than I will have to, but anyway, okay, I'm gonna introduce Sarah.
Wait a minute. If Tegan and Sarah are leaving, I have a quick question for them.
No, they're not leaving right now.
Okay, I'll wait then.
We'll be on.
Okay, so let me introduce them, and then you guys just tell like just a little background about how long you've been with doTERRA, and you know the spiel. Do your thing. This is Tegan and Sarah. They are my upline, and for those of you guys, I know I taught some of you guys the lingo with doTERRA, and upline is one of those lingos, and basically it's the people who are above you. So like I'm your upline, Sarah and Tegan are my upline, and then their upline is Gina, and then you guys have met Heather, who's in the big group. We consider them all our upline. So yeah, there's that. So I'm going to introduce you Sarah and Tegan because they're awesome. So go ahead, guys. Take it over.
All right. Hi. Yeah. So nice to meet you all. I think we've met a couple of you already. But yeah, so we've been doing doTERRA since like the very end of 2015, beginning of 2016. And really we started doTERRA as kind of a way to supplement our income, but also because people kept asking us about essential oils. And, you know, we were like, oh, we would tell them about essential oils, give them lots of great information. And then they'd be like, oh, that's great. Can I buy some essential oils from you? And we were like, no, we don't sell them. Like, go get them on Amazon or something, which we are regretting now, of course. Yeah, so we kind of started it because people were showing a lot of interest in it. And we are both naturopathic medical doctors in training. And
6 weeks to go.
Yeah, 6 weeks left. I already have my degree in chiropractic medicine, and Sarah has her degree in acupuncture. She's a licensed acupuncturist. I'm a chiropractic physician. So again, people were asking us about this, and we were happy to share the knowledge, but then, you know, we didn't really have anything to give them, and we didn't really have anything to get back from it either.
Yeah, and essential oils and like all our training of natural stuff, there's like a unique place for essential oils. We really feel like for just supporting mood, physical health, emotional health, all of that. So we couldn't not get involved, especially when we looked at doTERRA, really vetted them as a company. We were just really impressed by how they're run and what they stand for. So it was a no-brainer for us to get on board. So
yeah.
Yes, awesome. Okay, so they're going to be I actually know Sarah and Tegan from Tallahassee. We all went, well, no, we didn't all go to the same school. I knew Sarah's sister, and then Sarah and I connected later on. And that's how it was kind of that trust factor of knowing that she lived her life very similarly to how I lived mine. So I know she wouldn't be using and putting, these oils on her skin or using them on her body or whatnot if they truly weren't good oils. And I think we all kind of had a little bit of skepticism before we started, learning about oils and learning about which ones were good for us and whatnot. So I think it's kind of like and I say that because I think sometimes that's the power of reaching out to people that is that trust factor. So like who you are and who it's coming from, like I think that can just be a huge asset, which is why sharing with your friends and family is so effective, because there is that trust factor there that this person wouldn't bring something into my life if they, if it was, maybe they would if they're, not good family or friends, but typically they wouldn't do that. So anyways, for me, I had a lot of people reaching out about a lot of stuff about essential oils and different companies as well. But that was part of the reason that I did go with doTERRA was because of Sarah. So anyway, so just thank you guys for all being here and being willing to learn and to commit to this, because this has been, I know for me, these phone calls were super helpful. And I thought I was literally going to drive Sarah up the wall when I first started, and she probably didn't feel that way, but maybe she did, but I just wanted to know everything. I wanted to understand everything. And looking back on it, it's really true that you are not going to understand everything at first. And I would always end all of our conversations with, am I going to get it eventually? Sarah, am I going to get this? Am I going to understand this down the road? And she would be like, yes, you get it. I promise. It's second nature now to me, but yes, you will get it. And even now, I still don't get everything. But a lot of it starts to make a little more sense. It's kind of like your first year of nursing where you literally you're like, oh my gosh, just pray God I don't kill somebody. And eventually, that sounds terrible, but down the road, it's like things start to click. It becomes second nature and you will do fine and you won't be as crazy. And so I just want to say that and preface this, that if there's things that we talk about tonight that sound just whoo, over your head, that's normal. You're welcome to ask questions, but it's okay if you don't understand it in the beginning, because that's the beauty of the way doTERRA is structured is that it's in order for everybody to succeed within the company, you have to be pouring in and supporting the people under you. So it's not like we're going to handhold you all the way, but we're definitely going to be there for any questions, anything. I say this to you guys who are signed up under me, don't ever hesitate to text me, message me, call me. I may not respond right away. And you'll learn down the road. It just can sometimes get a little crazy when you do build a team and there are lots of people texting and needing to know, especially when a bunch of new people come on. But I will get back to you, and it does not, I want you to ask questions because it's important that you do. It's scary when you try to do doTERRA on your own because you're not probably going to do that great if you don't ask questions. So anyways, and I just want you guys to know that it's this team is very rare, and this team is awesome because of the people, everybody on this team, there's momentum and there are resources galore, and there are people that are succeeding and doing awesome with doTERRA. And Sarah and Tegan hit gold. They've hit gold 2 times in a row, which is amazing. And I want you guys to all know that it's not there are so many people that I interact with that are man, I want to be on your team. I wish I could be on your team. The person who enrolled me doesn't even talk to me anymore. And that's why I think there is such a small percentage of people who succeed in doTERRA, is because of the team that they're plugged into. I don't think they have that support. I don't think they have that, accountability and that knowledge and these resources that our team has. So I want you guys to know that you guys are involved in a really awesome team. And if you put in the work to make that we tell you that will help you, you are going to do just as good. And so it takes time. It's not an overnight, millionaire success kind of thing. And we are, Sarah, Tegan, and I are definitely not, rolling in the Benjamins, but we're, we want to get there to where we're able to do this as a business full time and make money and help other people, change their lives through natural solutions and make a decent income in the process. And so it's exciting for us to have you guys here and to do that with us. Okay, so I just wanted to start out, and Sarah and Tegan, please chime in at any point in time. I just want to tell you guys that when I started doTERRA, that was something, and we use this kind of phrase a lot, and it's about when you start doTERRA, you can do doTERRA as a hobby or you can doTERRA as a business. And we all go into doTERRA thinking, oh my gosh, I can make some money. I'm going to make money. Like, this is great. I have friends I can share with. And then we start realizing that it's a little bit harder than we thought it was going to be. Like, people aren't as, they're not as anxious to jump in and sign up with doTERRA. And they, this role as a wellness advocate doesn't seem as easy. And that's because it's not that easy. You have to put the work into it. You have to set goals for yourself. You have to have a plan. You have to kind of figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And we all do our business differently. Every one of us does our businesses differently. I have a different platform where I kind of have an online presence. And then there's, people that are above us who have just done it on their own, and they've done it through their very networked in their community. And then we have people who own small businesses where they teach classes in their businesses. There's different ways that you can do doTERRA. So I think it's really important for you guys to not only treat it as a business versus a hobby, because when you treat it like a hobby, you're going to get paid like a hobby. But when you put the work into it and you have a plan and you set goals for yourself and you treat it like a business, you're going to get paid like a business. And so I want you to keep that in mind. And so anyway, I just wanted to say that at first. I think every single one of you guys, I want to put an emphasis on using your creativity in your doTERRA business, because I think a lot of times people will try to hop on board and they try to copy what their upline has done. And a lot of people they'll see me do online classes, which I do a lot of online classes. That's just kind of the nature of my platform. And I teach a lot of classes online, but it is not, I would say that teaching online classes is not the best way to do doTERRA. I think when you are engaging in your community, you're reaching out, you're booking classes, which I'm going to talk about, and doing in-person sampling and teaching and educating and then following up, I think that's where you're going to see the best conversion. Just because oils, when you smell oils in person, that is what sells people on the product. It's not, unless you're really, really awesome at sitting and describing these oils and reaching out to people and have all the time to follow up afterwards and to really kind of answer all their questions. That's kind of sometimes the pain that I go through doing online classes. It's convenient for me, but I would much rather prefer to go in person and teach a class and have 7 or 8 people there and be able to sample them and to share them and to smell them and for them to reap those benefits right there. And so I just say that because I find a lot of people will try to mimic the online classes, and I think it's a great option, but I don't know that it works for everybody. And if it doesn't work for you, then don't feel that you have to do that. And I just want to say that because that is kind of how you guys learn from me. And I'll hop into that in a second a little bit more. But so I'm going to start with the basics because we have some basic, we have very beginners here. As a wellness advocate, you guys, just so I make this clear, when you guys are wellness advocates, in order to be compensated with doTERRA, you are committing, informally committing to doing a $100 LRP order every single month. This may be not new to any of you guys, some of you guys, but basically if you guys have signed on as the wellness advocate, make sure that every single month your LRP order is created and that you guys do a minimum of 100 PV, point volume, every single month. Because in order to get commissions for anything that you sell with doTERRA, you must have that 100 LRP order in place. If that doesn't make sense, please unmute yourself and ask a question about that if you.
Quick thing about that, Kelsey, too. Just so you guys know, when we get paid on Wednesdays for Fast Start or on the 15th for the monthly, even if you've processed your 100 LRP that month, your cart, so your next LRP needs to stay at 100. Or it's like an automated system to where they first thing in the morning on a payday, it basically goes through an algorithm. And if your cart isn't over 100 for the next month, let's say you did 100 in July already, but your cart is now below 100, come Wednesday, you're not going to get paid. So you need to keep that cart above 100. That's something I really didn't understand when I was new because I was like, what? But we create a LRP that we keep at 100. If we do a smaller order or something, we'll just create another LRP, order it, and then cancel it. But make sure you keep an eye on that, especially before payday to double check, oh, is my LRP where it should be? So that doesn't happen.
Yeah, the system automatically filters out any accounts that are below 100. It just takes them out of the running, so to speak, for commissions that day. So if your LRP is not set to 100 on a payday, whether that's the monthly or the weekly, it's not going to run, or you're not going to be included in commissions for that day.
Yeah, it's a quirky system sometimes. So I always, like, even if I process my LRP order on the 13th of every month, which in all honesty, I process it like the 1st of every month because I'm like anxious to get my stuff. And just FYI, you can, if you have an LRP order set for a certain date and you say you have it set for July 13th, like I did, but I really wanted my July 13th order today, you can actually go in and opt to have it shipped now, and it'll count for your July order, and then it'll be set up for the following, it'll be set up for August. So just so you guys know, you don't have to wait till that exact date that your July order would be set up for it. If you do it to ship now, it'll automatically count it, and then it'll if I had it set for July 13th and I set it up today and I shipped it now today, it'll be set up to ship again August 13th. So just so you understand that. And then I always, like, if I don't know what I want for the next month, or say I made I don't know, sometimes I'll go in and use my points and it'll bottom my account out. Like, I'll use my loyalty rewards points. I'll actually go back in and just put like 7 Deep Blue Rub just to make sure that I'm over 100, just to have it in there to make sure my account reflects 100 PV. And then I just know that it's there. It gives me sanity. And I've kind of messaged some of you guys, and you guys are probably like, she's so annoying. But I've messaged you and been like, hey, so-and-so, just FYI, your LRP order isn't above 100. It's just, some of you guys are set up for Power of 3 bonuses right now, and some of you are set up to get commissions. And I just want to make sure that you get those, because otherwise you won't if it's not set up.
You're fine.
So,
Hang on
even,
one minute. Let me get your little. Let me see if I have your little thing.
Hold on. Dr. Brooks, do you mind
All right, hang on, let me get
just muting yourself?
your way here.
Sorry. Hold on. I can't get a hold of my, I can't do it. Okay. So anyways, so yeah, I always just like keep up whatever I can. I keep it above 100 no matter what. Okay. That being said, also some people are like, well, do I keep ordering oils every month? Like, what do I get with my 100 LRP? So you can reinvest in your business with your LRP. Like, after you've been doing doTERRA for quite some time, you're like, well, geez, I've got all these oils. Like, what other stuff do I need? Sometimes it's really good to try new products like the skincare line, or sometimes the On Guard cleaning line. And then there's lots of stuff you can get with doTERRA, the supplements, the dietary stuff, all of that is there. I like to reinvest in my business. I actually sometimes, like, I'll have people at work that are like, Kelsey, I don't want to buy a kit. Like, I just want that Deep Blue Rub. Like, that's what I want. And so sometimes I will take my LRP order and I'll order like 3 or 2 Deep Blue Rubs, and then I'll just have my people at work pay me cash. And so that kind of helps me pay off my LRP order. That hasn't happened a lot, but it does happen here and there. So just keep in mind, if it's something where you want to make a little money back in that way, you can do that. Like, sometimes that you don't want to push the envelope with certain family and certain friends who are just like, okay, I'm not going to push you to buy a kit. If you just want a Deep Blue Rub, that's fine, you know, but you can order that in your LRP and have them pay you cash. So that's kind of, I don't encourage you to do that all the time, but sometimes it's nice to have that luxury. Like, I did that with my sisters in the beginning, and then they bought a kit because they kept wanting to like use me for my account. So anyway, you can reinvest, or you can purchase something, you know, for a friend or family. Okay, so I'm going to go into teaching and how I've shared doTERRA and how you can share doTERRA. And Sarah and Tegan, please chime in. Teaching a class. So I wanted to show you guys, there is a website, and please write this down. It's called sharesuccess.com. Okay. Sharesuccess.com. And when you sign on to sharesuccess.com, you guys can see right here, it pops up and it gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guides that you can pick from. And the first one is Learn. And under Learn, sharesuccess.com/learn, there is a pamphlet that you can hit on that shows up. And I wish I could screen share. I'm really bad at this. But anyway, that sharesuccess.com/learn is what we all teach all of our classes from. Or that's kind of the basic, that's how you teach classes. And if you guys have ever listened to an online class, that is what I teach from. I go through that. It's kind of, you know, in the back of my head now. But it basically goes through the history of essential oils. It goes through the 3 topics about doTERRA essential oils: that they're natural, that they're effective, and that they're safe. And if you there's a couple points, like key points that each section hits. And the natural one talks about essential oils being natural aromatic compounds. It talks about peppermint oil. It highlights how potent peppermint oil is. And then it jumps over to the being effective, and it talks about the modern approach versus doTERRA's natural approach, and how we target the root problem instead of treating the symptoms, and how oils work on a therapeutic level. And Tegan just posted the sharesuccess.com that you guys can see in the chat. And then it talks about On Guard oil, and then it hops over to doTERRA's oils being safe. Now, one thing I hyper focused on when I first started teaching classes is I just like spent a whole hour educating. And I just thought, I was like, yeah, like I hit all the points. And, you know, I read that whole thing and I shared it with them. But really what I started learning is that people were excited to learn about the science about oils. And I think it's really important that you briefly hit on those key topics, but sharing how you use them is the biggest thing that I think is helpful in sharing oils and getting people to want to bring them into your life. So sharing the background, sharing those 3 points, and then talking about how oils are used. You can use them aromatically, you can use them topically, and you can use them internally. And going into what that looks like, having your diffuser going while you're teaching a class. You know, if you're doing a class online, you know, I always like to have mine, you know, right in front of me, and I will demonstrate. You take off the top, you put a few drops in it, and then you put it back on and it diffuses, and that's as simple as that. And then I like to talk about topically. You know, I'll have my little roller balls with me. I'll talk about some of the oils. You know, this is past tense, and I love putting it on my temples because I love putting it on my pulse points whenever I have a headache, or it's that time of the month, or I'm just having a really like awful day and my head's killing me. Applying them to your temples, and how oils get into your bloodstream within 30 seconds, but they're just safe, natural, and effective. And I love having this as an alternative to constantly using ibuprofen. And, you know, just really explaining how you use your oils and showing people how you rub them on your wrist and how you can put them on the back of your neck, and rubbing digestin on your belly, rubbing lavender on the bottom of your feet, taking a couple of drops of peppermint oil before you go to sleep and rubbing it on your pillow to help promote a good night's rest. Cleaning with On Guard. You know, just going into how you use them is going to be so effective. And I feel like that's the classes that I've focused on that. I've had good conversion. And so if you're in person and you're teaching a class, I think it's important to say, can I sample you, or can I put this on your wrist? And putting a drop of peppermint oil on their wrist and having them rub it around and taking a few deep breaths. You guys, all you guys, I'm sure, have smelled peppermint oil. It's amazing, and it totally hits you like that. But those are kind of the things that, you know, sharing with them how you can use them, describing. If you're doing an online class, you know, I know some of you guys like the idea of an online class. Some of you guys are scared to death of an online class. One of the biggest things that's important about teaching oils online is describing the smells. It's describing how they smell and how they affect you, because otherwise people don't really care. It's like, yeah, you're showing me how to smell these oils. You're not applying makeup, you're applying oils. There's, you know, so it's just important to do that. But teaching your class, you guys, thinking about some people who, you know, that would be interested in hosting a class for you. And sometimes when you order your LRP, order a couple citrus oils like wild orange or lemon, and offer the host, someone who's going to host a class, say, hey, you know, I'd love to gift you with some oil, with an oil or with some oils if you were to host a class for me. If you can bring a couple of your friends together, I'd love to come and teach about oils. And offering them a hostess gift, and then also gifting them with that hostess gift in front of the class, so they know that, hey, if anyone else is interested in hosting a class, I'd love to give you oils to bring home yourself as a gift, as a thank you for hosting a class. So making sure you're kind of giving a call to action for other people to host an event at their house as well is really important. I actually am hosting there's a coffee shop in town called Crazy Love Coffee, which I just talked with the manager the other day, and it's $50 to rent out the room for 2 hours. And typically I wouldn't recommend paying for a space, but I have a lot of people who are interested. So I'm going to go actually teach. I'm kind of scared to death because I've actually never done like a big class, but I'm going to teach this class, and I have a space that I can do it in, and I'm going to have people come you know, and do it with them downstairs in that room. So, you know, I know there are places, Sarah mentioned Panera, depending on what their what do you call it, their obligations or whatever they don't allow or do allow. Also finding a public place to bring people together is a good idea as well, not necessarily at someone's home, but I like the idea of doing it at a home just because it's more comfortable and cozy. And so anyhow, teaching a class is going to be really helpful, and going through that live guide or the learn guide that I just shared with you, the sharesuccess.com, that's like the basic class. And there's actually a woman who teaches the class on that website. She's kind of cheesy and really like therapeutic and really like, sweet. And that's, if you've ever watched my class, like I'm nothing like that woman. So you can, but she kind of just gives you an example of what it is to teach a class. Sharing with close friends, reaching out to your friends, guys, like, I was so scared at first to post on my personal Facebook, and I don't post a ton on my personal Facebook. Lately, I've been more brave about it because I've realized that I was getting messages from friends that instead of comments, but I was getting messages from friends. So even though I was posting and people may not have seen that nobody responded like on the physical post, I was getting messages from people, and people were interested in getting oils. And I think sometimes people are insecure about purchasing through direct sales. Like, I don't know, I really think that exists. Like, people get scared to admit that they buy from someone with direct sales. But the reality is like, this is where our world is going. Like, direct sales and internet sales and online marketing, like, this is huge right now. And it was something that blew my mind until when I got into doTERRA, and to see how effective it really is. And the reason why you're hearing more about it from people is because it does work. But you have to put the work into it. And so even though I didn't have a ton of people commenting, the amount of direct messaging was extremely effective. And it's just being consistent with that. Here's the key with posting. Don't just post, hey, I'm a wellness advocate with doTERRA. I'd love to talk with you about bringing oils into your home. Do not post that kind of stuff, okay? Our internet is flooded with those kind of posts. You need to be posting engaging, informative, educational posts about your oils, sharing how you use those oils. I'm so glad. Let me see. Okay, what am I? Oh, hey, I'm so glad I had my wild orange today. I was just feeling so crappy after a crazy day of work. And I got home and I put on my wild orange and my peppermint. And I just loved how it lifted my mood and just made me feel good. Or, I'm so glad that I had my past tense with me at work. My headache was just killing me this morning. And typically when I just take, a bazillion ibuprofen, which I know isn't that great for me, I had my past tense on hand, and I applied a couple, I don't know what you call these, rolls to my temples, dabs to my temple, and immediately I experienced relief. And I'm so thankful that I have alternative and safe solutions, and I can just keep it in my pocket whenever I need it. Doing those kind of informative posts, making sure you're explaining how you use them, and that would relate to somebody that has issues on a daily basis, just, whatever it is. That's like a really, really, really big thing that I cannot stress enough. I know Heather, she posted about Purify, and she's like, do you have 3 stinky boys, and you have 3 stinky boy laundry? Putting Purify on in that room after they leave to go to school is probably one of the best things you could do to detox that room, and everybody's just like, oh my gosh, yes, I have 3 stinky kids. Like, I need that stuff. It's like, as opposed to just saying, this is Purify, please message me to learn more, so it's like, it's relating it to an example. So that is super duper important and very effective. So make sure you're doing that. Also, being creative. Just be creative with your post. I know Allison did something today. Like, she posted like, we have 4,099 people or 999 people. Be the 5,000. Like, I don't know. It just caught my eye because she was like, if you are the 5,000 person, you're going to get this. And even though that's not like an example post, it was something different that I just appreciated her being creative. So be creative with your post as well. It is trial and error sometimes. Sampling is really big. I never thought that people at my work, I was scared to death. And one day I just walked onto my unit, and it was a downtime. We just sent our first starts off to surgery, and I was like, okay, guys, got my oils. And I sat my box out, and we all just sat and we're just, smelling them. And one of our charge nurse, I always like to tell this story. I'm deathly scared of her. She actually buys oils every single month, and I'm still scared of her. And I don't even have her in my private group. That's how scared I am of her. Like, she's probably like one of my best, like my best customer. She like, I mean, seriously, like, I'm just like, I have to be nice to her. Like she pays my bills, you know? And so anyway, but she's like, she bought one for me. She bought one for her daughter. Then she bought her daughter's volleyball coaches. She bought them 2 kits. And I was just, you know, whatever. I still don't talk to her about oils, but if it wasn't for me bringing them to work, she never would have bought them. And so sampling, just sharing them with people, keeping your roller balls in your pocket. People see them. You guys, people love oils. Like, it's crazy. You would not believe like the amount of people that are responsive. Now you'll get some people that are like, I'm so sensitive to smell, and that's okay. But they're not like perfume smelling oils. They're like natural aromatic smelling that are different, in my opinion. So I feel like they're not as like perfumes and Bath and Body Works stuff can be. And so I typically think people they respond better to oils than they would to like sprays and perfumes, just because they're not chemicals, they're not crap. Okay, so this is not so sampling, that's a big thing. This is not required. However, this is like a power weapon. And I really think that you guys should all have one. And I never really realized the power of a business card until I got a business card. So when you can literally go online and get business cards for like $4.99 for like 100 or something. Like, it's super cheap. I know you can buy them through doTERRA with like the doTERRA Wellness Advocate emblem on them. But, you know, for example, Allison was at the store the other day. She's at an art store, and this lady was trying to buy like these fake crappy oils, and Allison was like, Kelsey, I totally wanted to like hop in and be like, you know, those oils are not good for you, kind of thing. And she's like, but then it was like going to be an awkward transition, like, okay, so, you know, so they're not good, what are you going to do about it? And she like didn't have a card, she didn't have anything to hand over. But I said, if you would have had a card in that moment, you know, you could have been like, hey, I see that you love essential oils, you know, I would love to, you know, here's my card, I actually sell really amazing, safe and natural, you know, oils. And a lot of times the stuff you buy over the counter, they're just not as great for you. So if you are interested in learning more about it, here's my card, you know. So that's kind of a nice transition, as opposed to just this awkward, like, yeah. And now Allison says she has them now. Yay. And so just having that business card, you know, it also, you step it up a level. And like, I'll be honest, you feel a little bit cool when you get your business card. You're like, yeah, here's my business card. So anyways, I really encourage.
Kelsey.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was going to say, it also helps too if you have like weekly or bi-weekly classes or whatever set up. Like, it's really natural to be able to be like, hey, here's my information. We can either set up a time one-on-one, or I always do classes on Friday. Even if it's an online class, like, consistency really helps you to be able to reach out. Like, I always do this class 4:00 on Friday, or I always do this class Sunday at 9 p.m. Just, it makes it more natural and easier for people to like jump in. If they can't do it that week, they can come a month from then or whatever. So
yeah. So, and that's awesome. And like the one-on-ones, that's my last way that I was going to talk to you guys. So thanks for transitioning into that. One-on-ones, what we refer to that a lot in bigger groups. One-on-ones are basically hopping on a phone call with somebody or meeting someone in person who is interested to learn about oils, and talking with them about it. And sorry, I keep using Allison as an example, but I just feel like this keeps happening. Allison and I had like probably 5 one-on-ones before I finally talked her in. I didn't talk her into it, but I just knew she would be amazing at being a wellness advocate, and she's done amazing at it. But we had, you know, initial one-on-ones where we talked about, you know, what I always talk, like, I talk to people all over. I talk to people in Canada, which I found out my phone, never mind, that doesn't cover Canada. But anyway, it was a $40 phone bill. That's why I'm bringing it up. And I didn't know that Canada, like, I didn't know I wasn't covered in Canada. So I like called Sprint, like pitching a fit, and they're like, well, you called? Okay. So the one-on-ones, basically I just call them and I'll be like, hey, so yeah, so excited that you're wanting to learn more about oils. Like, just a little bit, like, I would love to tell you a little about my story, but I just kind of want to know, like, what caused you to reach out, or what prompted you to kind of want to learn more about oils? Like, you know, what interests you about them? You know, I just want to hear a little about your story and why you were interested in these. And typically people are really ready to start talking. Like, it's very rare that someone will agree to hop on a phone call and not want to talk to you. Like, if they don't want to talk to you, they won't give you their phone number and they won't give you the time of the day. So basically just talking with them and educating them and sharing with them, you know, about maybe a little about your story, or just simply saying, you know, this is a kit that I love, like talking about the different kits. There are multiple kits, and I'm going to get to the kits in a second, you guys, but just explaining how a lot of times people on one-on-ones or even in general, they'll be like, well, I just want to start with 1 or 2 oils. I always like to tell people, like, and this is something I want you guys to understand as a wellness advocate, you're going to get a lot of people who are going to want to buy retail, and they're going to want to buy one product. Okay. I'm okay with them buying retail. I don't have a problem with retail. I don't. We kind of have a thing like friends don't let friends buy retail, because we know that you can get the wholesale customer discount when you get a kit. And we also know that typically the people who buy retail are going to want to buy more oils. So we would rather just them up front get a kit that they would like, bring oils into their life, and then reap the benefit of having that 25% off discount. I always, when people are like, I just want to buy lavender and I want to buy this, I just say, listen, like, I totally hear you. And it's really okay if you just want to buy those 2 oils. But I just wanted to educate you really quick and just kind of tell you briefly about the kits and why I love the kits versus buying just a couple oils. Because a lot of people, you guys, think that with doTERRA, they think it's this giant commitment. They think they're going to have to do monthly payments. They think they're going to have to like have all these hidden things, like they're freaked out. And a lot of times people are scarred from other direct sales companies that have been crappy and have those stipulations. And the reality is with doTERRA, you can simply buy a kit and never buy anything ever again. And you'll get that wholesale customer discount for the entire year. When you renew your membership with doTERRA, if anybody asks, when you renew a membership, you will renew from the day that you enrolled, and you pay like I think it's $25. And then in return, doTERRA sends you a peppermint oil, which is about $25. So it's like they're paying you back in oil. But anyways, I always like to educate and say, listen, like this lavender and this balance oil that you want, it's probably going to be about like $60 after shipping and handling. Well, I just wanted to let you know that with your, if you were to move forward and buy the Aroma Touch kit, you're actually going to get balance, and you're going to get lavender in your kit, and you're going to get another, I think it's, what is it, 10? Is it 10 or 8 in the Aroma Touch? I can't remember. But you're going to get it's 10?
I think it's 10 total, or it's either 10 oils or 8 oils. So yeah, you're either getting, I think you're getting 8 more though, besides those 2.
Okay. So you're getting 8, and then so not only are you getting those, you're getting 8, you're getting 10 different oils. And I always like to say, if you really want to like use oils in your life, and you really want to start using natural solutions to target all things in your life, like your sleep, your digestion, your cleaning, your emotions, your best bet is going to be to bring a kit home, because I promise you, you're going to really be able to change your life with a kit. And you're going to be able to you're getting your wholesale customer membership for free. So you get that $35 membership you're getting waived with your kit, which will get you 25% off for the entire year. You're getting the amazing petal diffuser, you're getting fractionated coconut oil, and you're getting 10 of the most awesome oils out there. So you're basically paying $100 more, but you're getting all of this. You'll really be able to dive in and learn about your oils, because I'm going to help you learn about them and grow with them. And that's where I just think it would just be awesome. And I always like to touch on each of the oils and just say, you can use lavender for sleep. You can use lemon for cleaning. You can put a drop of lemon in your water for detox. You can use Melaleuca for any cuts or bruises or anything, or if your kids have any scrapes or bruises or scarring, putting Melaleuca. And I just kind of go into a little bit of the uses of each of the oils to better see if that would complement their lifestyle. So educating is key when it comes to someone who's wanting to move forward with retail. And again, at the end of the day, if they don't want to do it, I don't force them. I'm not one of those people that's like, okay, well then I'd rather you not buy anything at all. I don't do that. I just kind of, I let them move forward with it. Sometimes it's not worth the relationship or the friendship or whatever to like push the issue, even though they probably will be back. But and the reason I say about the kits is that you guys will start learning later on down the road with structure with doTERRA. You want to sell kits. You don't want to just sell one oil. You want to sell a kit, because that's what's going to help you build your structure with doTERRA. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. And the one-on-ones are really great, just to kind of reach out to somebody, talk through it, and really educate them, answer any questions or reservations, or help with any reservations they might have. That's going to be the most helpful for you. And I actually love one-on-ones. They're really one of my favorite things to do. They're time consuming, because sometimes you can spend a lot of time talking. But then, and then if you get off the phone with them, if they're not ready to like jump on, the biggest thing you guys have to remember, following up with people. Follow up, follow up, follow up. If you have some people, you'll hear people tell you to keep a list of people you've reached out to. This is actually a list of people. I kind of keep my brain in this little book, and I put people that I've reached out to that have said maybe, really, then last 6 months is one-on-ones. Yeah, Tegan and Sarah said basically, I don't need to read that. You guys can see it. Doing one-on-ones, and they're very effective. And another thing that I've learned is that sometimes, like if you guys have your LRP orders that you've gotten for the month and you bought a few citrus oils or you bought a few whatever, sometimes when it gets towards the end of the month, you can use privately for people who are kind of on the edge or who have been thinking about it. You can reach out to them and say, hey, I would love to throw in a wild orange with that home essentials kit that you've been thinking about. I just know that it's something you've been going back and forth with, and I'd love for you to get both the lemon and the wild orange because they're just two of my favorites, and I would just love to gift you with that if you were to move forward before the end of the month. Or you can sometimes offer them, depending on your means and what you have available, or if you have extra points in your system, you can offer them, I'd love to give you $25 worth of free products if you were to move forward with a kit. Just that kind of stuff. So using incentives, people love free stuff. They love jumping on free stuff. And I've kind of learned that I like to do that. Well, I say I've kind of learned. I learned like yesterday. I want to start doing that privately as opposed to just coming out and saying, okay, after this class, you get a free blah, blah, blah. Because there are some people that are really thinking about it, and I've kept track of them. And so reaching back out to those people and just kind of working private. I don't know. It's just, you can do it either way, but it is effective, and you will have conversion from that. So thinking about little ways that you can add in little fun stuff. Like with me, I send everybody a live guide. This is the same thing that's on that sharesuccess.com website. So I love sending this to people. And when you follow up after people get their oils, and that's whenever somebody signs up, you always want to follow up with them. We call them lifestyle overviews. Everybody does them differently. I kind of like to plug people into my group, like my Your Heart is Mine Oils group. And you guys are all welcome to plug any of your enrollers into that group. And I like to just kind of go over DIYs, and I will touch on a lot of stuff in that group that's inside this book. But for those of you who have friends and family that you're close to and your teams are growing slowly but surely, reaching back out and sharing the live guide, sending them an electronic copy on sharesuccess.com. You can get the link, and you can literally email it to them or message them and say, hey, I'd love for you to take some time to look through this book. It just shares about doTERRA's awesome products, like everything that they offer. And if you check out page 14, it talks about LRP orders. So if you are going to be ordering, oils again in the future, this just talks about the benefits of signing up for an LRP order versus a one-time order. And basically, you guys, an LRP order is what you guys are doing, and customers can take advantage of that too. It's not just advocates that can do LRP orders. And I have a lot of customers that recurrently order that aren't wellness advocates, and that's going to be awesome in helping you build your volume over the next couple of months as they are a customer with doTERRA. And again, if you don't fully comprehend all of this just yet, just
Quick thing, Kels. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So something I wish we would have done from the start is to keep track of anyone who ever tells you they're interested in oils, whether it's the business, whether, oh, hey, I just want to come to a class. We really didn't get good about that until probably 6 months in. And the reality is when you look at people who have researched sales, it's usually 8 to 9 times that someone has to be invited or exposed to something. I mean, Kelsey, you and I had at least 7 or 8 correspondents. Gina, who enrolled us, she texted Tegan at least 8 times. Don't give up on people. You don't want to be pushy, but you won't be if you have their interest at heart. And it's really great to be oh, I haven't talked to that person in 6 months. Let me just reconnect with them, because things change and they're going to sign up with someone else when they finally do become open to oils. So I really wish I had some of those names that I didn't keep track of early on. So I think that's a really good thing for you guys to do.
Yes, definitely do that. And yeah, so that's pretty much that with the following up with people, because think about it. Think about how much we get busy and we just forget. Or, another thing I noticed last week, it was payday. And I had a bunch of people who I followed up with on Friday. And I thought to myself, I'm never going to have people order on Friday. They have better things to do than order oils on Friday. And really, they got paid and they were like, yes, I'm ready. Let's do this. And so it was just kind of that timing as well. Okay, so that one-time order versus the LRP order, that is basically, you guys, you're going to get a lot of people who are going to sign up and they'll actually go. This is why it's important to educate about that LRP order. And an LRP order is a recurrent order that basically they can sign up for. And I always, anybody who enrolls, I educate about an LRP order. I have a default message that I send to everybody, and I will share that with you guys. You're welcome to copy and paste it and send it out to your people as well. But it's basically explaining an LRP order, what it is, what's the importance of it, and how to set it up. Because, and the reason that's important is that they get it from an email from me, and then they get me talking about it inside of my group on a video. And so they're getting hit with it twice so they understand, because the worst thing they could do is to order a one-time order every single month, because they would be getting that instead of getting the free points and getting your points back from shipping. You know, basically if they were to make a $100 order and they did it as a one-time order versus an LRP order, they wouldn't be getting anything back. They would be, if they did it as an LRP order, they would get 10% of their $100 order back. So they'd get 10 points back in oils, and then they'd be getting their shipping costs back in points as well. So it'd be like a total of 13.9 points, which is enough to buy a free lemon or a free orange oil. So it's kind of like frequent flyer miles, kind of like the smoothie stamp, you know, that kind of stuff. It's just getting an incentive for being a recurrent orderer. And they can order as little as 1 point volume every single month. So Sarah and I like to talk. Sarah taught me how to just, sometimes you can just order a lip balm when you make a point order, because when you redeem your points, they make you purchase something, keep something in your cart. It's just what they do. It's kind of like when you use your frequent flyer miles, you still have to pay a little fee to do it. But you get that lip balm and you put it in your cart because it's cheap. So, or you can just simply buy 1 oil every single month. And so that will still keep your points active inside of your cart. So you just have to make sure you're doing at least one volume, 1 point volume every single month to keep that recurrent order up. So, and people do it. People, if you educate them about it, they like to do it. So make sure you do follow up with that little bit. Okay, so I talked about incentives. It's always great to add incentives to get your sales, to add something special. Make it your own. It doesn't have to be something that I do. It doesn't have to be a free product. It can be whatever, you know. Hey, I'm going to, you know, you get a 40-minute free coaching session about oils if you, or, you know, whatever, something along those lines, like throwing in a simple oil. Or sometimes doTERRA does promotions. They do promotions a lot. And so they add that into it for you guys. Being direct and educating is really powerful when it comes to this business, just making sure you're really talking straight at them and just being confident in it. And, you know, you don't have to know everything about oils. Like, people just simply love the fact that they're natural, safe, you know, products, and they want their house to smell good. Like, some people simply just like them because of the smell. They don't even know anything about that they can be used topically or internally. And some people are afraid to use them that way, but they'll still purchase oils. So you just never know who you're working with, but it is important to educate them, because the worst thing you could do is give somebody oils and not give them resources to follow up and to learn from. I always like to give, I always share with everybody, these are 2 of my favorite books, A Smart Mom's Guide to Essential Oils and Essentials of the Earth. This is $15, and this is, Sarah, what's the website for this one?
eoebooks.com.
eoebooks.com. And I would buy it from there, not Amazon, because Sarah mentioned earlier that it is more expensive sometimes on Amazon. So that book, and then A Smart Mom's Guide to Essential Oil Living. You guys, I tell people to get these all the time, and they buy them, and then they share recipes and pictures from things that they've used in these books. And so it's great to equip people with resources on how to use their oils. Okay, so anyway, that's basically kind of it, little gist of everything. And I always like to make sure, if I'm doing any online classes or whatever, taking pictures of your oils, showing them, you know, that's always fun, and just getting creative with your posts and whatnot. Okay, so that all being said, does anyone have questions? What questions can I ask for you about anything, about the structure, the business? What questions do you guys have? Unmute yourselves. Anyone? It's okay if you don't. Sarah, do you guys have anything that you can think of, like, as far as the business side of it goes, like just at the beginning, like structuring, like, can you add anything about that? Or I don't know.
Well, and Jen, did you have a question for us too? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it's not really business related. It's about a post that Kelsey, you did the other day about coconut oil, and you guys being naturopaths, do you know anything about? Okay, quick story. I just got my labs done for my yearly doctor's visit, and I was super excited to see what my labs were going to show because back in October, I started with Whole30. I'm basically paleo light, like almost vegan. Now, I haven't had a drop of alcohol in over a month, and before that, it was pretty low. So I was super excited about my labs, but my alk phos was super freaking high out of nowhere. And I'm like, what? So, and the only research that I could figure out was coconut oil. Cause I make these little bites, protein cacao bites with coconut oil. I'm like, that's the only thing I can think of. But I'm like, I'm gonna ask these ladies tonight. So I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah, a couple thoughts. That is surprising. Do you want to mention what you said?
Well, so a lot of times alk phos will be raised if you're having any kind of like issues with the gallbladder. So,
I don't have a gallbladder.
Okay, so
It got taken out. You had surgery for
Yeah.
it? Okay.
2008, I had a cholecystectomy.
Okay, so what do you take to digest fats now then? Are you taking like ox bile or anything? So if you're on like a paleo diet and you're consuming fats, like coconuts still are fats, like how are you digesting those?
yeah.
That would be my thought. You've lost your organ that helps you most assimilate fats. So you need kind of like an ox bile supplement is commonly taken with fats when you've lost a gallbladder or something like that, because you're stressing your liver out if you're not having the storage that your gallbladder was for that bile.
Yeah. My thought would be that if you don't have the gallbladder, the alk phos will be elevated because of the liver strain.
Yeah.
Okay, I do eat an avocado every morning.
Which is not bad. Like you need fats, but you need to supplement what you lost with that organ. Like I don't agree with common medical knowledge of the gallbladder as a vestigial organ, because really it's kind of the counterpart to the liver. It takes some stress off the liver. It has a lot of jobs, and your gallbladder is supposed to store that extra bile so the liver isn't constantly having to put out more. So I would think that's probably the most likely in your case.
That makes total sense. But what are you saying that I need to help with my digestion?
So it's like Standard Process sells, there's like an ox bile is the name of the company, a Standard Process, but basically like you need a form of bile to help break down fats. When you're having, like if you're having an avocado with breakfast, I would take it with your fatty meal, or if you're having like more fats, just so you're not putting, because eventually that's going to put strain on your liver, which you don't want.
Which is crazy, because I used to drink like a sailor. And, you know, when I lived in Italy, we had a bottle or two of wine every night. And my liver enzymes were always fine. And so now I'm not drinking. It's like, bastards.
Yeah.
I'm all pissed this morning.
I'm sorry. That would be my first.
All right.
Okay, well, we'll
you
do
text
another.
me?
We'll do a
Okay.
gallbladder call soon, or a Sarah.
Sarah, can you text me the stuff that you're talking about, please?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
Cool.
That makes sense, though. Thank you. That makes sense.
Okay.
Just rack my brain around it.
No. Awesome. Okay. So last thing, I just wanted to tell you guys, the structure, like structuring your team, I want all of you guys to be thinking of one person, one or two people that you could potentially use to grow your team with doTERRA as wellness advocates that you guys could sign up under you. That's something that was really hard for me in the beginning, because I didn't have anybody, like I also didn't really understand kind of why I needed the wellness advocates. I didn't really know anybody who'd be willing to like do the business. And so if you guys have any friends or family, like I know Jen is going to be taking over a team in July, and she's going to sign her mom up as a wellness advocate. And those are what we call placeholders. So you can actually have, like, if you have a close friend or a family member who is willing to sign up as a wellness advocate, and just, they don't have to sell, they don't have to share, but basically somebody who would be willing to sign up as a wellness advocate, or ideally you want to find someone who'd be willing to build the business with you and want to learn, but having somebody who would be willing to sign up as a wellness advocate, that could be a placeholder for you. So basically somebody who would be willing to sign up, in that, because you can, when you enroll people and you enroll customers, you are going to be building a structure. And that's where that, I'm not even going to call it pyramid, but basically you're going to be building a structure, and you can only place people under wellness advocates. So sometimes when you have somebody who's a friend or a family member who you can say, hey mom, I know you're signing up for oils. Let's sign you up as a wellness advocate. And then they, hold on, Allison. And then they can basically, you can place people under them. And when you find somebody down the road who's like, hey, I just saw your post and I want to learn more about this business and I want to learn how to be a wellness advocate, we can do what's called an account transfer. And we can take your mom out and put your friend in who's ready to sell. But in the meantime, we'll be able to be building your team while they're in that place. So if that doesn't make sense to you right now, it's okay. But just know, be on the lookout for someone, or open your ears, or just reach out to maybe a girlfriend who, you know, Jen was kind of that person for me. I just immediately knew. I was like, Jen would kill this game. Like, I know she would, not this game, but I know she'd be amazing at doing doTERRA. And I kept reaching back out to her. And I didn't push her, but I just knew she'd be really good at it. And so finally, you know, she was someone that I knew would be a really great wellness advocate. And when you build your team strong with people who you know are going to be driven and strong, motivated, and, you know, people you can communicate well with, that's what's really going to help you succeed with this business. So just be thinking and kind of thinking about who that person can maybe be, or having those placeholders, you know, those family members that sign up, and having them sign up as wellness advocates so they can kind of help you build your team in the meantime without having to, they don't have to pay for anything. They don't have to commit to an order. It just helps you build structure in the beginning. And I remember not understanding that concept. Sorry, the lighting's bad. I remember not understanding that concept, but I just listened to Sarah and I listened to Heather, and I was like, okay, I got these placeholders, like, don't know what they mean, but then I figured it out down the road. Like, it makes sense. So, that's all being said. So yeah, so that's it. You guys, the spoiler sampler, what is it called? I keep forgetting the title of it.
Spoil yourself with doTERRA.
Spoil yourself with doTERRA. That is happening July 10th through the 14th. And so I'm going to post a whole, I mean, most of you guys have got your stuff already, but that's going to be an awesome thing. And Heather's going to be educating about that. And I really think we're going to see some good conversion this month because of it. So I'm excited. I'm excited for July. I'm excited for you guys to start building and growing your teams. And yeah, so anyways, that's pretty much it. So any last questions? Anyone have anything to say? All
I
right.
have something to say. It's Vanessa. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Hey, Vanessa.
Hey, so like what I've been telling Kelsey like this whole time, that I've been at a bit of a bigger standstill than I've wanted to with the whole doTERRA thing, like sharing. I share it on my Facebook, I've shared it on my Instagram, and I pretty much am at a standstill right now. Like nobody wants to buy anything, nobody's interested, and I was like, okay, I seriously don't know what to do now. I was going to do I'm thinking about doing business cards. I had recently went to like a spa / like fitness center, and they offer, like, you know, if you want, you could do a trunk show to show your business cards, but they haven't contacted me yet, and that was like about a week ago or so. So I'm like, okay, what is going on? I don't know what to do anymore, pretty much.
Yeah. Sarah, do you guys have any thoughts? Or
Yeah, I can chime in. So Vanessa, we have not done really anything online to grow our business. So there's a lot of ways to approach it. I would say, you know, the Facebook or the online route, like, it can be helpful in some ways. And if you have a platform like Kelsey, it might be more helpful. But really, like, I just feel like I get bombarded on Facebook. So most of the time I'm not like, you know, oh, I want to reach out to this person about this. So if there's anyone like close to you, or even like college roommates, or just like if there's any people that you're still maybe close connected with, but haven't like retouched base with. I know doTERRA like made me realize I'd lost touch with a lot of people that I was still wanting to be close with. So reaching back out to them, not to immediately ask them about oils, but just to naturally be in their life. And since oils were such a part of our life, it would just come up because we would bring them everywhere we go. Not the full box. I mean, we weren't that overbearing, but I would always have at least like, you know, 3 oils in my purse or something. And, you know, you're adding it to your water at the table. It just comes up when you're talking with your cousin. So I would say maybe, you know, trying to organically like incorporate oils publicly into your life, like how you're using them, and then reconnecting with people and, you know, just naturally sharing how that's affected you. Because really, if you get like one class going or one great one-on-one, that can lead to a new network of people that kind of opens you up when you feel stuck. So it can just be as little as like one person getting to know them and just kind of opening up to their people as well. Hope that helps.
Vanessa, are you still doing your health coaching classes like with your friends?
So what it is that right now we're like kind of in like in training, I should say. Like I'm gonna go do my second module in October. But right now what I'm doing is I'm coaching other people that I found, like my coworkers and whatnot, and then we're coaching each other, the people that I've met. So that's in process.
That's awesome. I was just thinking, like, maybe if you could set up, like, are you Facebook? Sorry to bring it back to Facebook, but like, do you connect with those people online? Those people that are in the modules that will do those with you? Like, do you? I mean, is it a good handful of them, or is it just only a few of them?
Yeah, it's actually like about 20 of us, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was like last month. Because we have like our like own private Facebook group.
Yeah.
So I posted something about the essential oils, but I saw people like it and whatnot, but nobody actually reached out to me. And I talked to them about the oils when I met them up, but it's just.
Yeah. Well, Sarah and Tegan, I mean, I think, Sarah, didn't you guys kind of feel like funny at first sharing it with your colleagues, like in your classes? And
Yes.
got
So
easy.
awkward
They're
because
very
everyone was
skeptical.
like, "You sold out," and like there was like the unspoken shame somehow. But now everyone's just jealous because we're gonna be paying off loans way sooner.
Yeah.
Just saying. So, but yeah, it takes time. I was not comfortable at first, so we like kind of kept it to ourselves or would use them, and that would start conversations. But honestly, it wasn't until like a year and 2 months of doing doTERRA that like a lot of our colleagues were like, "Oh, you're still doing this. This works. I want to learn more." So sometimes the timing is just like you have to hang in there. You have to just keep being consistent with what you're doing.
And Vanessa, if like you were to be able to get those people together, like in a group or like even just like on a call like this, like I don't know if Sarah could hop on with me or not, but I know I would be happy to like do a Zoom chat or just like a little class with them on this, from one healthcare provider to another, that way it's not as like sketchy as it being, just this, random oil girl. But I don't know, like I'd be happy to help host a class and teach a class on your behalf if it was something that, instead of like pinning it all on you, being like, I'm going to host a class, like you could, break the ice by saying, hey, my friend Kelsey would love to host a class with you guys. She's a nurse and she's so passionate and excited about this stuff. And she kind of got me into it. Like, I'd love for you guys to hear, like, I'd be happy to do something like that. Like, I'm happy to host a class for you in that way or whatever. Just, we'll brainstorm for some other things because you are awesome at posting and you're very consistent and you're doing a great job. I just think that sometimes we do hit, little doors and we just have to kind of reevaluate where we're at. But we'll talk. We'll chat. I'll text you later on.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
But you do awesome. You really do. I love your posts. I like them every time. So.
Yeah, I would say too, like posts are great and like to initiate and again get another exposure, but they're general and it's always gonna like when people see a post about essential oils, it's gonna put it kind of in the want category rather when you're educating, like you were saying, Kelsey, or talking to people one-on-one, like you're finding out what's actually going on in their life. Kind of like Jen and I were just talking, oh, you don't have a gallbladder or whatever. You're having this conversation. Now you bring the oils to a need level where it's like, no, you need this because of this. And so then people, they reprioritize their finances. They're reprioritizing just their expectation of what oils can do. So sometimes that one-on-one is invaluable in that regard.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions about anything or any?
I have one more question.
Yeah.
So, didn't even think of gallbladder being gone. So I know you're going to talk about this later, but is there certain oils I shouldn't ingest because I don't have a gallbladder?
I'll message you so we can chat about it, Jen.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Danny, do you have any questions? I know you're like new to this.
I'm very new. Hello. The LRP is completely confusing to me. But I figured we'll get there.
Okay, so LRP is basically loyalty rewards points. And basically, we as wellness advocates, in order for us to get commission, so you could technically be a wellness advocate and you could sign up all the people that you wanted, or you could sign up no people at all. But if you didn't sign up anybody, then it wouldn't hurt you. But if you did not have a $100 LR or 100 point volume PV order set up every single month, and it's just, we like to just keep it in our like Sarah and I talked about, we just keep it above 100 all throughout. Like I'm OCD about it. Like if I sign on, I'm like, oh crap, like I make sure it's in there. But in order to get compensated, so in order to make commissions, for anything that you sold, you have to keep your LRP order at 100 or above in order to get commissions. There's also multiple ways you get paid with doTERRA. You get your fast start bonus, which you get paid weekly. So any sales that you made the last week, you get paid every Wednesday. They're the following Wednesday. So you will, and I'll send you the direct deposit form. So when you start enrolling, you'll get directly deposited into your account every Wednesday for every sale the week before. But like Tegan said, it's a system and it basically scans it. And if you are not, if your $100 LRP order is not stored in your account, and it only takes it out one time a month. So I always encourage people to do it between the 1st and the 15th of every month, because with doTERRA, you get the product of the month, which is if you do an order of 125 or more. And so, but it's always before the 15th typically. You don't have to do it, but I always just say to do it anyways, because sometimes you end up getting it and you don't realize you spent that much. But it's you put it in, so you keep it at 100, and so no matter what, you're going to get your compensated for your fast start bonus. You're going to get, if you qualify for any bonuses, like I know some people that are right below me, they're getting Power of 3, which is a power, and you'll learn about the bonuses. We can talk about that another time. We'll have a compensation call. But basically the Power of 3 bonus, when you start hitting rank with doTERRA, when you hit the rank of Premier, there's different ranks that you go through, and I'll go over that another conversation. But at some point, you're going to start getting money for the ranks that you hit. So all of those is contingent upon you having that $100 LRP set up. And as a wellness advocate, we don't say you're required to do it, but if you want commissions for any sales, then you have to do it, because you won't get it. You know, if down the road it's something that you don't want to do, or if people, like, you know, we've had some people switch out of positions. We just always, my biggest thing is like, give doTERRA 3 months at least, you know, for you to really start learning and benefiting from it. And so just committing to that LRP. And the LRP, you can do it as a wellness advocate and you can do it as a wholesale customer. So people who aren't wellness advocates, who don't want to do it as a business, but they want the benefit of getting the free points back in their account for the orders that they make every month, they can sign up for an LRP order as well. So it's not just for wellness advocates. Customers can order an LRP, and that's really nice, because your rank and your structure of doTERRA, your rank is dependent on your volume. And so you will get, so say you enroll somebody this month, you get their volume from their kit enrollment, and then you sign them up for LRP. They're like, oh, well, I would love to order oils every month. So you got that volume, that money or that credit for their kit order this month. Well, then next month they have a LRP order set up. Say they bought like 3 oils. That's like 60 volume in oils. Well, then what's beautiful about that is that the next month, if you were to enroll a brand new person, you would get their volume, and then you'd already have somebody enrolled who's on an LRP order who would be ordering 60 volume in oils for that month. And so that's someone you didn't have to enroll who's a recurrent orderer. So it helps your overall volume the following month. So it's really nice when you can get people on LRP orders, because it helps build your volume. Does that make sense? That
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So it's really nice, and not everybody wants to do it. Like I have a ton of people who aren't on it, but if you are consistent with following up and you educate them about that LRP order, like a lot of people like to do it. So, yeah, so that's that. And again, you're very new to this, so no, you're awesome. You're going to be awesome.
Oh, thank you.
We're excited to have you. So, any other questions?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. All right, last call for questions. Anyone? All right. Okay, I think we're good. You guys, thank you so much for chiming in. This is gonna be recorded, so we will post this and get this up so you guys can review if you have any questions. And if you guys have any questions about anything down the road, just let us know or let me know. Tegan and Sarah, thank you for being on call and being on call.
Kelsey, yeah, no problem.
Thank you,
guys.
Kelsey.
Lord. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.